It's long been said that man and dog are the best of friends, but a trip to Penn State's Animal Science Department revealed the one time where a dog may be dog's best friend, when lightning illuminates the sky. Tonight's EarthBeat sheds some light on thunderstorm-phobic dogs. Lightning, thunder, canine chaos. It's easy to find people who face a fear of thunderstorms, but it is even easier to find dogs who are deathly afraid of those big boomers. Several floors up in the Agricultural Science and Industries building, a look outside offers views of a building thundercloud, but across the hall, Dr. Nancy Dreschel offers a view inside the minds of our furry canine friends.
A lot of dogs are fearful of thunderstorms. They get a little nervous by it, and maybe they pant and pace, but some dogs are actually phobic, and they have like a panic reaction when they hear thunderstorms or sense thunderstorms, and so those dogs are kind of over-the-top reaction.
Before coming to Penn State, Dr. Dreschel was a practicing veterinarian for 12 years and had a lot of patients with thunderstorm phobia. It helped spark her interest to investigate why storms spark panic in dogs. Being an animal science expert, Nancy eventually organized a method to track the behavior of dogs and their respective owners in response to a thunderstorm.
We had a really large boombox with a CD player that played the live thunderstorm recording, really high quality recording, and we played it really, really loud. So what we did was I went in several days earlier, kind of set that up. We set up a camera so that they could record the behaviors of the dog, and then the owner would play the simulated thunderstorm for 5 minutes at high intensity, film the dog at the same time, collect saliva before, immediately after, 20 minutes after, and then 40 minutes after. We also collected saliva on the humans as well.
So why saliva, and why a sample from the owners? Well, it turns out that both humans' and dogs' behaviors and stress can be analyzed using a common hormone, cortisol.
Cortisol is a stress hormone, so it's produced by the adrenal glands in times of stress, it can also be produced during exercise or excitement, but it's the body's natural reaction to kind of dealing with changes in the environment and changes that are going on in the animal. So we can measure cortisol in lots of different things, so plasma, blood, hair, saliva, which is what we use. And so the reason I use cortisol, salivary cortisol, is because it's really easy to use in dogs. You just have to stick a little swab into their mouth and let them chew on it.
Given that all dogs have a different tolerance to thunderstorms and their associated stress, the results of a cortisol analysis will vary, but it is no surprise that the effects can last quite a while.
So we usually see an elevation in the saliva of cortisol about, it's probably about 8 minutes after the stressor occurs, and then it increases for 20 minutes or so, and then it slowly decreases. And depending on the level of the stressor, it might take 40 minutes, 60 minutes for it to actually come down.
That hour after the stressor occurs is the prime period for thunderstorm-phobic dogs to freak out. It can be when furniture gets clawed, walls acquire holes, or windows get broken. Is there anything the owner can do?
There's a lot of things that go around as far as how you should treat a dog that has thunderstorm fear, and should you pet them or should you ignore them? And for many years people have been saying, oh, ignore them, because otherwise you're just kind of rewarding them for being scared, and they're kind of learning how to be scared. What we found is that really it doesn't matter what you do, that they still get upset, and especially these phobic dogs, that they still are. So you can cuddle them if you want. It probably isn't going to make a big difference. Owners
of thunderstorm-phobic dogs already know what veterinarians have to say, that this is a problem that is not easily treated. It's theorized that some dogs are predisposed to the problem because of the breed, and also that dogs can pick up on minute weather changes that humans cannot.
Some dogs, it's interesting, and even one of the dogs in our study didn't respond to the noise. So it turns out that she gets upset by something else that's going on during a thunderstorm, whether it's pressure changes or static in the air or something like that.
During Dr. Dreschel's study, there was one thing that seemed to keep a dog's cortisol level slightly more stable: the presence of another dog.
So that was something that we did see in our study, that dogs that were in multi-dog households had not as high an increase in cortisol as those that lived by themselves, which was really interesting to me because the dogs, I saw the videos of these dogs, and they weren't always with the other dog at the time, and they weren't necessarily interacting with the other dog at the same time. So sometimes the other dog would just be hanging out and no big deal, and this dog would be freaking out. And it might have been even that just living with another dog provides kind of this constant stress, so they don't react as much.
Now, Dr. Dreschel did tell me that they cannot say for certain whether this was just a coincidence during their study or if there is a deeper truth to it. She does not recommend adopting another dog solely for this purpose just yet. In the meantime, if your dog is thunderstorm-phobic, the best thing you can do right now is to help desensitize them during a storm. Perhaps heading to a basement to minimize noise, or blacking out windows so lightning is less obvious. Subtleties that will help to make the storm environment just a little less rough. For Weather World, I'm Ben Reppert.